Hey everyone, welcome to the show tonight. I'm Dr. Asatar Bear, my co-teacher here, Leah Schaefer.
Welcome.
We're both just very, um, you know, eh, I think I don't even know if I have words for it, right? When we look out at the state of the world, there's just so much pain and confusion, suffering, um, and we're feeling this. I think we all are. Um, and the question is, how do you work with it? What do you do with it? How can we make a difference? How can we bring the world a little bit closer to what we envision, what we know is possible? Um, and that's the thing that's motivating us. Tonight we had this conversation about it, and we're both like, this just isn't natural. The way that we're living, um, the box that we're forced into. That's not who we really are. Um, and meditation is about remembering that. It's about exploring that. It's about developing that. And so that's what we wanted the theme of this class to be. Of course, we teach meditation from the Sufi tradition, Universalist Sufism, and we focus on the heart, and our hearts are always feeling what other people are feeling. We are all one in our hearts. So
Mhm.
that's the reality that we wanted to speak on tonight.
Thank you, Asatar. Yeah. I mean, I personally, I personally am completely disgusted, by the way that things have been showing themselves to us. And that's not the point of our show tonight. We will go into the answer rather than the problem. But just to like say it out loud, I feel like we are almost afraid to even talk about the things that we're seeing and witnessing, such as like, months and months and months of genocide of a population that is at least half children.
Right.
Um, that, and then in the US, having our rights taken away as like just another Monday, just another Monday. The Supreme Court took away the rights of three different states to protest. Really? The week before that, oh, just another Monday. I guess Arizona women don't have right to abortion. And then they say things like, oh, well, within the next 2 weeks, we're going to try to figure this out to get it back to the 15-week mark. And oh, we're going to put it on the ballot. But why are my rights being taken away to begin with, is the question. And why is it that we feel hopeless and helpless rather than understanding exactly how to empower ourselves toward a government that is supposed to be serving us, not the other way around? And so I am in particularly really, really upset about the way I'm being treated as a citizen and the way that all of my brothers and sisters are being treated as well. And I find that with meditation, it's this opportunity that no matter how the outer circumstances are unfolding, no matter how someone may be treating me, or a system might be treating me, that I'm not taking that in upon myself and then measuring my own value, measuring my own self worth from that.
Yeah.
Instead, I am measuring my self worth from my realization of the light that is deep within my heart and deep within each and every single human heart.
Mm,
And by that remembrance, by that growing of that remembrance, it's like we stop putting up with abusive patterns, such as laws coming into place that are causing way more harm than any good for anyone other than lining the pockets of the 1%. And so, that's what we would like to do tonight, is to empower you because of the disgust. I wish to empower you to not put up with how we are being told we should be treated.
yeah. I think that's a really good point. It's like we we have a kind of subconscious because of this messaging that we're surrounded with. It's like it's telling us, look, we're not good enough. This is all we deserve, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, that's a like common kind of abusive pattern, right? And
Yeah.
we need to collectively stop taking that. I mean, we need to stop elevating the worst people to positions of power, to to stop having a society where a
To,
few people have more than the vast majority in terms of wealth and so on. But we
Mhm.
have a comment from our friend Shakur, who's here, just saying hello. Good to see
Thank you, Shakur. We're so happy that you're here. And
you here. And so,
last week we did a meditation on creating more peace within the world, and we did that as a three-part series. And I really truly feel inside my own practices how powerful that these energies can become within ourselves. And I am not some exception to some rule. The only thing that might make me a little bit different than other people is I had trauma at an early age. And so, like, maybe that makes me a little bit more sensitized. And Asatar was born into a family that practiced this from birth. So his father's an amazing teacher, as is his mother and his stepmother. And so, like, we do have these things going for us, but other than that, we're just as limited as anyone else. And I, it's something where I want you to know that you have more power inside your heart than you might know. You feel it sometimes, like you read the right book or you see the right movie, and then or you talk to the right friend, and then boom, you feel it. It's right there, right? But I want you to know that it's even like 1,000 times fold bigger than that. And the reason I know that is through the practices themselves. And I feel in my heart of hearts that if enough of us come to this realization and come to this light within and be able to bring that light out of our hearts and into our bodies, our minds, our hearts, and then into the world, that is what's going to create substantial change. Because when there are these catalysts of the dark times like being thrown at us, guess what, the polar opposite is accessible as well. And this can be a catalyst for coming more toward the light, rather than going into hopelessness, rather than going into like this feeling of like that nothing can be done. I want you to switch your flip. I want you to switch your light back on and remember who you are. So that's why we're here tonight.
that's the theme, right? Meditation is great for that. It's one of the things that makes meditation so compelling. We have a sense of who we really are. Who are we? What is our real nature? Our real nature is eternal, perfect, infinite. Um, and so we're in this world of limitation. We're in this world in which there is pain, there is suffering, there is death, there's imperfection all around us. Um, and on some level, we know, look, that is not our nature, right? Our nature is not to be beaten down and apathetic and exhausted. And, our nature is to constantly be renewed and revitalized. That's what spirit is. And we need to remember that. We need to tap into that. Meditation is great for that, right? What we do with it, well, that's that's up to each one of us, right?
Yeah,
But if we can
you're
just start with that, right? Just start with remembering that spark,
hmm
and then see where it takes us, because the other way is deadening, you know.
yeah.
The way we're living, the way we're put in the box and we're told to live here, um, that's deadening to our spirit. We want to come alive. That's the goal.
Yeah. And just don't underestimate your ability to make waves, to be defiant against any form of abuse, whether it's from government or someone else. Like, don't put up with it. And
Right.
so, and this is why we want you to feel empowered. So when you're ready, let's meditate, yeah? It's
Yeah.
time?
Let's do it.
Okay. When you're ready, go ahead and find your meditation posture. And I want to encourage you to sit upright this evening because you want to be able to feel your spine really clearly. You can prop yourself up with pillows if you're still gaining the muscular strength to sit upright, I highly recommend sitting in a chair. You want to have your knees lower than your hips so that you can breathe easier. Close your eyes or soften your gaze and start to deepen your breathing. Allow your lowest abdomen to expand first before any other part of you, and then broaden that expansion outward. And then it gently rises up toward your heart, but filling the total circumference of your torso before lifting upward. So that way we're not breathing into our chest. And that way we're not choking ourselves out with our breath. And also, this is what's going to help you breathe slow. You want to have a tremendous amount of volume at an extraordinarily slow pace. Because that's what's going to give you the most power on the subtle levels. And that volume is what's going to give you the most movement of energy. So you want that power, but you want the power to go deep into the more subtle layers of yourself. You don't want it to be so subtle that you lose all your life force, and so that's why you keep that volume really slow but steady. Build, build, build the breath up on the inhale. And then as you exhale, it's like a dropping, a slow dropping. Don't let all the breath out all at once. It's almost like you drop, and the exhale naturally leaves. But then there's much more. There's so much more air in our lungs, stagnant air that's stuck in our lungs. And so use your core, your abdomen muscles. Pull them toward your spine. Tone your abdomen muscles in toward your spine at the bottom of your exhalation. So at that point where you feel like you're done with your exhale, then you squeeze your abdomen toward your spine. And it's like you're reaching your breath out and far. Because your pressure system, the next inhalation will feel like a rush of air, and you want to be very meticulous with that. Slow, starting from the depth of your abdomen. Slow build, controlled. Reach the bottom of the exhale, reach to your furthest capacity. As you breathe this way, tune into the emotions of your heart. Whatever is happening in your heart today, accept it fully. In other words, I feel pissed off in my heart today, and I accept this about myself. I'm not going to try to pretend that's not how I'm feeling. I'm not going to mask it. I'm not going to people please. I'm going to accept that this is how I feel right now. This is the energy inside my heart. And then I'm going to breathe with it and be with it and not even trying to change it yet. I'm just accepting it. So accept what's in your heart. But first, you have to know what's in your heart, right? So listen as you breathe. Feel. Feel your heart. There are thousands of mirrors trying to take you away from yourself. I want you to focus on your heart right now. Keep your breath moving. Don't stop that part. But keep feeling your heart, listening, feeling. Whatever's there, breathe right with it. Feel it more. Keep your chest lifting. Keep your shoulders back. Keep your head up high. As you feel what's in your heart, it might be several notes. It doesn't have to be one singular note. Yeah? Whatever's coming up, it's all okay. Breathe with it and sit in this pride of being who you are right now. All that you are right now. And think to yourself, what I really mean by that is feel inside your heart. What do you stand for? Feel it in your heart and use your breath. Make it bigger. What do you stand for? When push comes to shove, when somebody tries to knock you down in any fashion, what do you stand for? When somebody tries to cause harm to themselves or others, what do you stand for? Let your heart get very proud. In other words, don't try to hide your heart in this moment. Don't try to hide your light in this moment. Allow your shoulders to be back. Allow your chest to be forthright like a lion. And breathe with whatever you're feeling, and breathe with what you feel that you do stand for in your heart of hearts. And let the energy get bigger with each breath. Like your heart is getting bigger with each breath. And then let's bring our hand to our heart so that we can feel our heartbeat. If you can't feel your heartbeat with your palm, take the other hand and wrap it around your wrist so you can find your pulse point. But tonight, even if you can feel your heartbeat, let's bring our hands to our heart. It's right in the center. It's not over to the left. It's barely to the left. It's pretty center. So go ahead and find your heart yourself, though. Stop letting people tell you where your heart is. Feel it. Feel your heart. Where is it? And keep your breathing going as you really try to feel your heartbeat itself, your inner drum, this knock, knock, knock at the door of your own realization, at the door of your own awakening to knowing yourself, to knowing life on the largest spectrum possible for you. Your heartbeat is relentless. It just keeps going. Feel your heartbeat as much as you can. Try to feel every heartbeat as you breathe fully in, fully out. Time and time again, it just keeps showing up for you. Your heartbeat again and again. Something you can rely on. In addition to your breath, something that's yours that you can rely on. Growing up, they always had us place our hands on our heart and pledge our allegiance to life and liberty and justice for all. Liberty to liberty and freedom. Yeah, liberty and freedom. That is what we all have in common. I don't think only in the US, but I think throughout the entire world. The human hearts, the ones that are still feeling, the hearts that are still alive, full of love and emotion, full of pain, but not displacing that pain onto other people, full of sympathy, empathy, full of love. still hearts. Every single one of them wants freedom. Liberation. To be able to be ourselves. To be able to know and fulfill our greatest internal potential. To not be subject to conditions so difficult that no one can attain such freedom. To not be devalued, to not be dishonored. But to be free, to be free. I still pledge allegiance to freedom, no matter how many different forms of government we will need to go through before they stop treating people like commodities. What does your heartbeat feel for? What's your heartbeat for? What does your heart most want? Only your heart can tell you that. Only you can find that answer for yourself. You have to really listen as you ask that question of your heart. What does your heart really want? What does your heart beat for? How many other hearts beat for the same thing that your heart beats for? That your heart wants to live for? How many other hearts do you think want that too in humanity? Can you feel how connected you are to all of our brothers and sisters all around the world? All of us have hearts, all of us have heartbeats, and all of our hearts desire something amazingly beautiful or powerful. Good. And then now let's create rhythm. So now we harmonize between the life force moving through us, the breath moving through this life force, endless life force, moving, endlessly moving, with the rhythm of our own heartbeat, with the drum inside of our own desire. We link them together. Those of you that have practiced this, you can rest your hands. Those of you that have not, I'm sorry, you have to keep feeling a pulse at some point. Feel a pulse at your neck or your wrist. You can rest your wrist down if you like. Feel your heartbeat the whole time now. And as you inhale, see if you can inhale for 8 heartbeats. Try that a few times, just the inhale. And then the exhale. Now see, can you exhale for 8 heartbeats? Try it out. Okay. And now we're going to put it all together, and I want you just to play with this even if you're not ready for it. Don't worry, it's okay. I want to offer you a saying today. You can choose something else, but I'm going to offer the saying, I am the truth. And I mean that truth with a capital T. I am the truth. I am the truth. It's a 4 count, so you have to do it twice on the inhale and twice on the exhale to get your 8 counts. Just do your best. Don't worry so much, just practice. Do your best. And when you're ready, it's as if your heart is saying this with each beat, as if your heart is actually saying these words with each beat. And when you say the word truth, feel the truth, the truth beyond words, beyond form. Very nice. And then let's go ahead and take a little break. Thank yourself for practicing. Thank your heart. When you're ready, move your body and open up your eyes.
Nice meditation. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you, Asatar.
There's something so powerful about placing a hand or both hands on your heart, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just so interesting, what role our posture has on us, and
Mm-hmm.
I love how you started just talking about that upright posture, and it's a posture of power. And
Yeah.
I um I think a lot of times I feel like I shouldn't sit up straight, you know? Like it
Really?
socially. Yeah, when I'm around other people, it's like it's too, I don't know, maybe it's like that I'm a big tall person also, but like if I sit up straight, it's like I'm looking down on you or something. And like we have
Yeah.
this kind of pressure to like hunch, and
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like, oh, it's more, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just interesting for me personally, like what effect does it have to like just be, here I am, this is how I'm sitting, right? I mean, it has a function to it, right? It's actually the like, believe it or not, right? This is the most relaxing way to sit, because
Right.
you don't have this like pressure on your spine,
Yeah.
you're
Tho
removing.
tho those of you that are new to this practice, or any meditation practice, the thing is like your muscles will eventually adapt. So Asatar's been doing this for a long time. Your muscles will eventually adapt to the point where they can relax onto your bone structure.
Right.
And so, like, that's the thing, you're stacking your bones. And then over time, your muscles will catch up with this, and then they can relax onto your bone structure. So Asatar experiences this now, as do I.
Yeah.
So,
And you're right to say you have to kind of train yourself for that, because at first that particular mix of muscles is not used to being engaged in that way, and it feels different, and you know
yeah.
this is all stuff that you learn, right? You learn
But
how to
but
breathe, right?
you're
You learn how to
but
sit.
you're right. It's like how many of us sit in our power? How many of us stand in our power at any given moment,
Right.
you know?
Exactly. I mean, I do the same thing a lot of times when I'm standing. This is a thing I've tried to work on. Like I stand and I'm kind of noticing, oh, I'm like hunching, right? Okay, well,
Oh
what
yeah.
just you know
I'll put my hand over my mouth. I'll be
yeah,
all the time.
right, right.
Just
And
like, what
what
am
are
I
we saying?
doing?
What
What
are
am
we
I doing?
saying?
Yeah, what am I doing? What
You know? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I should be silent, right? Or, I mean,
Mhm.
that's the body language, and
Mhm.
because we have so many forces that are telling us that, right, in different
Yep.
ways, right? Just shut
Yep.
up, do what you're told,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
real. That's not coming from our
Yeah.
spirits.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's part of my reaction to
I love it. No, because it's so simple, and yet it helps us remember who we are, and it helps us
yeah.
remember our power within. Yeah.
And there's something that feels really good about just being in that, and
Mhm.
not having to apologize for it, right? This is just who we are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
let the others adapt. We're not. I mean, of course, as long as you're not like hurting anyone else, right? And
Right. No, that's the thing is like not causing harm to others or self. And but when somebody's causing harm to myself, I have to also be in charge of not allowing that to continue, you know?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Well,
You, you ready?
I just think I also want to comment because I think I'm already feeling a lot of transformation just of the energy, and
Mm-hmm.
that we go in with thinking that we have to control, thinking that we have to control our hearts, control our spirits, um, that if we
Mm.
have a feeling come up, that it's like a problem,
Right, right.
What do we do with that? How do we characterize that? What does it say about us? All these things, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Mm-hmm.
this is the mind talking, this is the mind trying to control the heart, and that's not going to work. The mind has to be the servant of the heart. The heart says this is what's important. I mean, there's so many directions we could go in life, right? But like,
Mm-hmm.
we need to know what's really important, and only our hearts know that, and our mind is there to provide the strategy and tactics. That's but not the direction. We can't do that, and so I just want to kind of uh, point out again that it's normal to have all of these different feelings come up, right? um,
Mm-hmm.
when you tune into your heart, and it's not always going to be good. It's not always going to be what we think of as um, the right feelings and whatever. I think,
Yeah.
okay, this is the right, I'm remembering now, like you mentioned this in the meditation, that we don't have to feel the right way. We don't have to
Mm-hmm.
only feel goodness and peace and love and all these things, right?
No.
you're gonna feel some emotion that you might think of as negative, but you just take in the whole experience, right? That's what our hearts are
Mhm.
doing, unifying, becoming
Mhm.
whole. That
Mm.
means feeling it all, and
I
knowing.
love that.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. What did you say next?
just knowing that nothing's bigger than your heart's ability to be in that emotion.
I love that. It's the coming into wholeness. And that's what we're talking about when we're reactivating who we really are and
Yeah,
coming back to ourselves and remembering who we are. It's exactly that, Asatar. It's that our heart is coming into its wholeness again.
right. Very important. And
Mhm.
we can't usher in this new world. I think we all feel it's coming. We can't usher it in with our old way of being and our old, because we're all part of this. We might not be the 0.1% who's running things, right? We might not be that, but we all co-create this world, and so we all
Yeah.
can change at least our part of it. And I
Mhm.
think that's the moment of liberation, right? That we can
Yeah.
know who we are, and then we can work toward that vision, um,
Yes.
work
Yeah.
to change the outer forms so that they reflect the inner reality. That we're
Yes.
all one. We want to create
Mm.
a world that's based on love and harmony, not on greed, and not on fear. Our whole order is based on fear and greed. We've got to move beyond
Yeah. Mm.
that.
Let's meditate, Asatar.
Let's meditate, right?
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Yeah.
All right. So while the vibe is still strong, we're going to continue to work on it. And one of the things that is helpful to me as I'm just finding my posture is it's like balancing. Am I too far forward? Honestly, 9 times out of 10, I'm finding myself too far forward. So for me, it's a lot of times it's sitting back a little bit. Now, occasionally I will be back too far, and then I'll feel it in the muscles of my abdomen and my front. You're too far forward, you're going to feel it in your neck and your back. So just being aware and making very small movements to come to your center so that your spine, your hips, your sits bones, that this is where the weight of your body is placed so that you can relax your muscles as much as is possible while remaining in this upright posture of power, of energy, of vitality. And working on the breath helps a lot. We're making the breath deep, breathing into the belly, allowing the belly to expand on the inhalation, and then squeezing the breath out, bringing the belly button toward the spine on the exhalation. The belly expands and contracts. We work on making the breath slow, as Leah said very well. Make the breath slow. We slow down our rhythm. We have time to appreciate the inhalation, the energy of the inhalation, the beginning, the middle, the end of that inhalation. All different parts of it have different energy. Same with the exhalation. We want our breath to be rhythmic. We want our breath to be heart centered. We want our breath to be full. want to feel like it's our hearts that are breathing. Our hearts are taking in spirit from all around. Taking in, drinking in life, energy, love. And the exhalation brings us into a more active kind of energy. Now we are giving, we are expressing, we are creating, we are building, we are speaking, we are making our art. The breath is a conversation between us and the universe. God speaking to God, the universe without to the universe within. And we're always working on improving the breath, perfecting the breath. Deep, slow, rhythmic, heart-centered, full. Tuning into the beat and bringing the heartbeat into harmony with the breath. Same number of beats on the inhalation as on the exhalation. This may be difficult, what I'm asking you to do. It may take practice. What I can say so easily in words is the work of many years to master. And if you feel drawn toward this practice, I would like you to get to the place where you can breathe in for 8 beats and breathe out for 8 beats. Or perhaps an even longer rhythm would suit you. When thoughts arise, you say, yes, and let me go deeper. Let me experience that and go deeper. What is the energy that is behind this thought? Let me dive into that energy. Let me feel my heart as an ocean, and let me dive into it. Let me feel it all. This is all the more important when you encounter emotions that you think of as negative: fear, anger, sadness. Dive into that too. Experience it fully. The stronger the emotion, the more vital it is. The more energy is there, the more it connects you to the infinite. Because what happens when you dive into an emotion, you turn up the intensity of it. Instead of what we normally do, instead of fleeing from it, suppressing it, saying it's okay, putting it in a box with our minds and saying, oh, this is because of that, and that's because of this, and that's putting that feeling in a box. Try not to do that. Go into it instead. Experience it in its fullness. And what happens? Approach your heart with a feeling of curiosity. I'll tell you, there have been many times I have sat down to meditate, just so angry, so upset, so sad, where I have felt almost totally overwhelmed with a feeling of frustration. And these times have ended up being some of the richest experiences that I've ever had in meditation. When your heart is that full, that engaged, even if it's full of what we might think of as negativity, as you go into it, as you dive into the experience, you find it's just energy. And you will be amazed by how much energy, how much emotion your heart can hold. Use your breath, use the rhythmic, powerful breath that we're working on. Make your breath full, engage your abdominal muscles, squeeze out all of the exhalation. Open your belly on the inhalation, allow that inhalation to continue upwards into your chest, all the way up to your collarbone. That is the full breath. The full breath will give your heart the power to ride out any wave. When you have ridden that wave, you will find an ocean of peace. This is what I know. You will come out the other side. The bigger the emotion, the more it connects us to the infinite. Because the reality is that emotion is endless, it is eternal, it's perfect. That is our nature. And by opening our hearts to the emotions that are within us, we uncover, we rediscover, we remember who we really are. Because our hearts are not just personal. That's the part we know. Well, I'm angry because this happened to me. Okay, that's the personal side. But there's an impersonal side, there's an infinite side, there's a universal side. That part we rarely ever get to experience because we're so caught up in the personal side of it. Open your heart, experience that emotion, dive to the very depths of it, and it will take you to the infinite. And the amazing thing about this is that whatever emotion you might have started with is now completely transformed. Like how we might experience light in the form of a color, but light really is every color. The color of light is merely what it is reflected off of or filtered through. Light contains every color. And so it is the case that each emotion contains the whole. In my experience, this is the best way to liberation. To feel, to experience, to know that your spirit is unlimited, perfect, infinite, eternal. To experience that in the sacred vessel of your heart. Feel that pervading through your emotions, through your thoughts. To feel it sinking into your bones. A better world is possible, my friends, and we must create it. May each breath we take in this state help us lay another building block toward that world. Amen.
Mm. Mm. Thank you, Asatar. I really love what you said. Many things of what you said, but that metaphor of the light having every color within it, such a brilliant metaphor for like experiencing the one life in our own heart.
Mm.
And it's like each heart is almost its own looking glass in a way. And it's like the light comes through each of us so differently, but when we tap into that original light, it's all the colors. That's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. And
Mm.
and look who's here, our friend Akbar Kadus.
Thank you, AQ. We
Shabash.
appreciate we
Nice to see you.
appreciate your energy contribution, AQ, and
Yeah,
your presence, of course, and your humor.
it's it feels very special, to meditate in this setting. I know. I mean, this is why we do the class live, and with all of the potential for things to go wrong that has. But there's something very special about
Look at Dora.
being together in the same time, so thank you
Yeah.
to those of you who feel that and join us.
Yeah.
And, to
Yeah,
those
we
who are
really
watching it
appreciate it.
later, hopefully you still have some of the magic.
Yeah, and for everybody out there who is watching and is fighting for your rights, your basic human rights to just be yourself and to live as beautifully of a potential as possible. If we didn't say your exact cause, just know that our hearts are connected to yours and we care about your heart. Okay, so keep going.
Everyone keep
So,
going.
all right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us tonight. If you'd like to support the show, go to the link to the Patreon, and we'll be back next week. If anyone has questions, of course, we'd love to address them. So get in touch with
Mhm.
us and keep meditating. We'll see you guys next week. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.